Good morning, everybody. Again, welcome to the call. Objections versus deflections. When we talk about deflecting, that is when you're early in the presentation and the client is giving you an excuse. This is the great part. The beautiful part about it is, these folks will set an appointment on your calendar for a specific day and time, and then this is what happens, guys. They start to get buyer's remorse. This is like a natural occurring. Think about it. You're 70 years old. You don't have burial insurance that you've needed your whole life. Is it that you've never spoken with someone about it? Is it that you just keep blowing it off? It's usually they've spoken with other people, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're blowing it off. So here they are getting buyer's remorse, ready to blow you off again after they already committed to an appointment. And this is our marketing. So that's why this call today is so important. They're going to start, hey, I'm sorry, you caught me at a bad time. Can we just do this? Let's do this tomorrow. You simply deflect and go right back into your presentation. Jerry, I'll tell you what, I'll make it really quick. Boom, back to the presentation. And that's to me is what your typical deflection is. They'll give you the, now's a bad time. Can you call me back later? Same thing. Jerry, I've got a pretty busy schedule. I'll give you the short version. Boom, you go right back into it. Can you just give me the price? I'm working on that right now. Boom, literally one sentence, short deflections. I'm sick, I'm not feeling good. Can you call me back later? Oh, I'm sorry, darling. Just hang in there, we'll make it quick. Boom, right into the presentation. That is deflecting. If you listen to their lies, most of it's lies, flat out. They're lying to you. Man, I hate it when people lie to me. When someone is lying to me, and they requested me to be there, especially when I mainly, think about when I sold face-to-face, guys, my first couple of years, I was outwriting like most agents in the country, like insane amounts of numbers. So I got aggravated. Boy, when they lied to me, would get right on top of that line. We've all got that line in the sand that we have as how far we'll go. And I find it's funny, most of your typical salespeople, they'll come up to the line, but they won't even step on it. My point here is, the reason I'm sharing all this with you is because you cannot listen to their lies and their nonsense. You paid to be having that conversation with them. So it's up to you to make the best of it. It's up to you to get past all the nonsense, overcome multiple objections, because that's how sales is. You're either a order taker, and which we're not. If you're an order taker, you're getting paid by the hour, right? You've got a job, someone's calling in to buy something, and you're taking the order. That's not what we're doing. We're sales people. Some of you guys are sales professionals, and that's the goal. I want you to all be professionals, closers, people that you respect yourself enough to do whatever it takes to get to the point to where you are a closer, a true professional, the type of person that I want to speak to, the type of person that your clients want to speak to. Don't listen to the nonsense. They're going to give you a test. It's up to you whether you're going to earn their respect or give them too much respect. I hate to say it, the test often comes in the form of a lie. So are you gonna give them respect because they lied to you? Or are you gonna figure out how to make them earn your respect? And here's how you do it. It's really not that hard. In some cases, to me, there is a call out. You kind of have to call them out a little bit. You want to do this in a way that doesn't destroy your rapport. Now that's the one thing, depending on when it happens, because we're building all this rapport, we're sharing these stories, we're getting these folks to confide in us. At some point, we do have to kind of call them out. You kind of got to remind them about the lead. The nice thing about our system is when they set an appointment or they fill out a lead, it shows exactly what day and time they did that. Well, Janet, last night at 9:17 p.m., when you filled out the form that said affordable burial insurance, and blah, 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 blah. Then you get into your objection, which can be, I thought this was car insurance. Really? Oh, you thought this was car insurance. That's funny, Janet. Look, can I just shoot straight to you? Look, you filled out the form last night at 9:17. Now, you may have filled out something else about car insurance. I believe that. because I fill stuff out online all the time. But the form you filled out was very specific to affordable burial insurance, to the point to where it is impossible for you to think that it was anything other than affordable burial insurance. Right to the presentation. Boom. Call them out a little bit. Do it in a respectful way. I thought this was free. This is the real, to me, this is the real test. This is your chance to really get that respect going, because they will do this early in the call. Oh, I thought this was free. I mean, guys, nothing on the ad, nothing on the landing. There's nothing. The word free does not exist. We are not saying, hey, if you fill out this form, we're going to give you something for free. We're not doing that either. There is no reason for these people to think that this is free. So when they originally fill out the form that in the first sentence on the picture says affordable burial insurance, they don't think it's free. They are convincing you that they think it's free in most cases. Now you're going to get some dummies, okay? I hate to say it, it is. Some dummies that maybe they, for some reason in their brain, they think that this should be free. You're going to get, there's always somebody, but most of the people that say, I thought it was free, know that there's a cost. Janet, can I be frank with you? When you filled out the form last night at 7:12 p.m. about the affordable burial insurance, it is impossible for you to think this is free. There was nothing that said free. There was nothing that could lead you to be free. And look, Janet, look, you and I both know nothing's free, but I got some really good news. If we can get you approved, and I'm saying that, Janet, because I really don't know if I can get you approved, but if we can get you approved for something, I will be able to guarantee I can find something that you can afford. And now you don't have to worry about this anymore. Back to the presentation. Boom. They'll hang. They're either going to hang up, right? Or they're going to stay with you. It's one way or the other. But you have to earn their respect. And sometimes you have to call them out. They are not going to give you an inch of respect. Me, I think I'm listening to you guys' recordings. I'm hearing you guys give out a lot of unearned respect. Some of you aren't. Some of you are making them respect you, but I'm hearing a lot of you giving them too much respect. I thought this was health insurance. Same thing, guys. You call them out. There's no reason for them to think, this is health insurance or anything else. They will say the craziest thing. Oh, I thought this was for my water treatment. Oh, Janet, you must have filled out the water treatment form too. No problem. A lot of people fill out those forms. I see those ads all the time. No, this is about this one. This is about at 9:17 p.m. You filled out a form about affordable burial insurance. Back to your presentation. Guys, it's a test. It's a knee-jerk reaction. You have to call them out. You can't be afraid. It's not over until it's over, guys. And towards the end of this call, I'm going to give you some bad news and some good news, depending on how your perspective. The bottom line is this: you need to make them respect you and your time, and you can't listen and believe the nonsense. Common objections. Got to talk to my daughter first. We hear that, right? You got, anybody's been, you've heard, you got to talk to somebody else first. Got to think about it. I don't do anything when I first meet someone or speak with somebody. I can't afford it right now. I need to check the budget. Here's another one that they'll give that I didn't put in here. They'll say, you know what? I want this insurance. This is awesome. I know I need it. I've got 2 more car payments to make, and then I'll get back to you. They'll do that. Oh, I got to pay off this credit card. Then I'll get back to you. They're going to make up the craziest nonsense and use it as an excuse not to buy from you, even though they know in the back of their mind that they need this. And that is literally the only reason these people are filling out this form. If you think that they are actually filling out this form because they can't afford it right now, because they're going to have to think about it, because they need to talk to their daughter first, you've got it all wrong, guys. We need to make some changes in the way that you're thinking, if that's who you are. The good news is we can do that. I can absolutely 100% help you with that. The objection is simply part of an application process. If someone's not giving me objections, I'm probably not going to fill out an application. Like, they need to give you objections. If you can accept that the objection and how I deal with it is part of me filling out the application, then that's when you might be tempted to start actually working on yourself. So one of the things I'm going to recommend is every weekend, when on your off time, you should be putting at least a few hours. If you're new, you should be putting basically most of your weekends into getting better. Whatever you did last week, you need to fix that if it wasn't perfect. None of us are perfect. So we all have stuff we can fix and correct. One of the important things is making the objection part of the application process. I'm pretending I am selling. I am speaking with my client here, and they're giving me an objection. I need to speak with my kid first, my daughter first. You know, Janet, I get that from a lot of my clients, and believe me, I understand. And Janet, I'm gonna share with you a little story. I've been doing this in the insurance business for right around 15 years. And so I've actually been doing this long enough to where I've seen a lot of changes in our industry. And I've actually been able to be part of that. Years ago, guys, notice how I'm making like a super short story, like long. So that's the pause. That's what I'm doing here. I'm making this short story as long as possible. I'm stretching it out. So Janet, what I actually did, because of my position in the industry and because of my background, a small insurance company asked me to help them to develop their product, their final expense burial product. And it was pretty cool. While I was working with them, I learned a lot more about the industry. I thought I knew it all, but I learned a lot more. But the important thing is, and I want to bring this up to you, is what they did is they did polls on people and their children, and they talked to like over 1,000 people about this. What they talked to them about was when the parent, the responsible parent who is supposed to be taking care of their child and is supposed to be responsible about their own debts and their own responsibilities, when they ask their children, hey, kid, I'm thinking about getting this burial insurance because I want to make sure that you don't get stuck having to pay my bill. When they have that conversation, did you know that 97% of the time, the child actually doesn't want to have it, and they just tell the parent whatever they have to tell them to stop talking about it? So Janet, I'm bringing that up to you just to let you know that a lot, it depends on the kid. Some kids are really good. Some kids, they're not worth it. But I think since we're having this conversation, you already know that in the back of your mind, this is something that you've been thinking about, and you don't want to leave your kid stuck with it. And Janet, I'm just going to say something. If you really did need to speak with your kid, you might have actually spoken with them first before talking to me, before using me for help. And that's fine, Janet. Let me just tell you a little bit about this company. American Amicable. They have been around a very, very, very long time. They actually been around longer than you and I, over 100 years. They were founded in 1910, but check this out. They became part of this group of companies that actually started in the 1800s. So their history goes back like 150 years, way, 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 way back. And the reason I'm bringing this up to you is because I want you to know they've been around a long time. They were here before us, and they're definitely going to be here after you and I are gone. So the one thing you don't have to worry is, well, about them taking care of things the right way and actually paying the death benefit. As a matter of fact, in the event when you pass away, what they're going to do is they're going to pay out that face amount, that death benefit, to your daughter, Sarah, within 72 hours, or I'm sorry, 3 business days. That's how they do it. It's actually 72 hours of business days once they receive the death certificate. So they're going to make sure that this is done good and correctly, and that your daughter doesn't get stuck having to pay for your responsibilities. And that's what this is all about. So with that being said, can I make a suggestion? They're always going to say, sure, Doug. Sure, Chris. Sure, Brandon. Sure, John. Make a suggestion. Let's go with that bottom option. That way, you have it all taken care of, because that's what this call is about, is getting this taken care of so that your daughter doesn't have to worry about this. Do this. Go ahead and circle that bottom option, $65 a month. Well, let me ask you this real quick. Do you think you can handle that? If they say no, then you do a price drop. As simple as that. But you just saw, guys, the idea is I just gave you like a 10-minute loop. 7, 8, 9 minutes, I basically spoke about nothing. However, I did build up the product, and I did get them to think a little bit about why they filled out the form on Facebook, because they did not fill out the form on Facebook so that they could get a quote and go talk to their daughter. They didn't fill out the form on Facebook so that they could get the quote and think it over another 70 years. That is not what is happening here, guys. It's important for us to step up and do everything we can to help these people with something very important to them, because if it wasn't important, if there wasn't a need, if there wasn't an interest, they wouldn't have filled out the form. They wouldn't be having a conversation with you. You got to build a lot of rapport in your presentation. You have to be prepared to make at least 4 loops. I just did 1 loop, okay? And I did it, I spoke about the history of the company. I didn't get into their A rating. I could do a second loop, and I know I was talking with Enrique about this the other day. You know, we can do a second loop that's a long stretch out version about AM Best that gives them an A+ rating. You can get into the history of AM Best and talk about how they are and who they are, and then how important it is, the fact that they give American Amicable an A rating. That's amazing. You can get into another loop about how their assets are, how big this group of companies is, and how they contribute to like 200 billions in assets, 8,000 people that work for them. They're feeding families, thousands of families, literally. You can get into that. Then you can do another loop on the writers that come with this, getting into like even like talking about, well, whatever the excuse is, guys, whatever the objection, it's what an excuse is. An objection is an excuse. Whatever the objection / excuse is, you can talk to them about Social Security. Janet, I don't know if you realize this, but when you pass away, you are getting 255. Not you, I'm sorry. When you pass away, your daughter is going to get $255. Have you ever heard about that from Social Security? They're going to say, yes, yeah. Now you're getting into a conversation about that. But let me ask you something, Janet. I know it's just you. Were you previously married? You were, and what happened to him? Oh, he died. Well, that's important. Let me ask you something, Janet. Now, he passed away. When he passed away, did you get the $255 from Social Security? They're either going to say yes or no. Here's the thing, guys. If they did get the $255, it's actually $255 per married couple. If they're single, it's different. But if it's a married couple, one person gets the $255, the first dies, the second gets the $255. When the second dies, there's no more $255. So you can get into a loop all about that. Get into the accelerated benefit rider, the confined care rider, and then you can do a 4th loop on the riders that they're not getting, the additional riders. Most of these companies have riders. So my point is, guys, you need to be prepared to make a lot of loops. The more time you spend building rapport and then building up the product, you know, bringing that value to what you're bringing them. Janet, I got to tell you, just so you know, this isn't just life insurance. This insurance can and will actually pay while you're still alive, depending on the situation. You get into the terminal illness, the accelerated benefits, confined care riders. Build them up. Get into the company. Don't be afraid to make these loops long and drawn out. That's what you're doing. Look, something I realized a long time ago, when I'm sitting face to face with someone, I'm either going to beat them up and sell them. I'm not going to physically beat them up, but you know what I mean. I'm either going to go do this so many times and not listen to the nonsense and over and over and over that they're going to buy, or they're gonna beat me and they're gonna sell me, and now I'm gonna buy the nonsense. So, guys, you gotta understand they are filling out this form Because they are interested in buying burial insurance. And I've concluded that there really are two different agents. The good news is the negative one can become the positive one. You're either that sales professional or you're a sales preventer. You're either doing things that is preventing your sale, or you're doing everything that is possible to become that sales professional and close that sale. So throughout my career, I have read Think and Grow Rich. I've read, I had a couple of books on neuro-linguistics programming, NLP, basically like a form of hypnosis. I've also had, I had a book on hypnosis, and it was about, I don't know what it was called. It was about hypnosis and influencing people, basically that. So I've done a lot of this. Meditation. I did a thing for meditation. I learned that when I meditate and I work on myself quietly a little bit each day, and I haven't been doing this, but I did have a stage where there were a couple of years where I did this, and those were actually, of course, those were the years where my sales were the highest. My point is, if you can quiet your inside and just do what you have to do to be a true sales professional, which is everything, then you're not going to be a sales preventer. Because right now what's happening is I'm hearing calls, and this is normal, usually from newer agents, where I'm hearing these recordings where there's things that you are not doing that you should absolutely be doing that's actually getting in the way of you making the sale. In other words, some of us are actually we're blocking the sale from happening instead of being a sales professional and making the client want to buy from us and need to buy from us by all the things we talk about in these training calls. One of the important things about, I'm going to go back to that book, is that one of the things that he talks about in that book is your voice tone, using your voice to your fluctuation and tone to close your sales. Because if you just sound like you're reading something when you're doing the presentation, it's not going to work, guys. It don't work. But when you make that presentation with energy, with voice fluctuations at the right time, when you raise your voice at the right time and lower your voice at the right time, this actually helps them to bond with you. It helps to close the sale. Because face-to-face, guys, some of you guys are face-to-face. Face-to-face, we can use more body language. One of the things that I always did in my presentations was my arms would flip around like they're doing now while I'm talking, and I'm doing this, and when I'm talking about, like, I will never forget, like, the first presentation I made for life insurance when I was a Hartford agent. I was talking about the assets and how their assets, they're not small like some companies, but they're big assets, and how I would exaggerate everything by flapping my arms, standing up, doing all that. We can't do that on the phone. So we have to use our voice to do that. So it is super important and super key that you listen to what you're doing, listen to your recordings on the weekend, go back. Before you send me a recording, and send it to me, or ask me to listen, because I can access your recordings if you'd like. Before you do that, listen to it. Say, is that the way I'm supposed to sound? Do I want to sound like that? You're going to catch yourself doing stuff that you don't even realize you're doing, guys. And that's the difference between a sales professional and a insurance agent, or a salesperson, or what an insurance agent and a salesperson actually are is a sales preventer. They're actually, in their own way of closing the sale, they're actually preventing the clients from doing something that they know they need to do. Guys, basically that's it. I am back if you need anything. If you need me, you know where to reach me.